YouTube. Welcome back. Episode 163. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's see what the man had to say.
What man?
What screen is it showing?
A field with some plants, trees, and some mountains.
What about now?
Now, a news reporter.
All right.
Trump huddles with national security team after Iran missiles strike injures 20.
And Mike Tobin on the ground in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Mike.
Hey, Keely, as the direct combat between Israel and Iran now enters its second week, Iran continues to lob missiles at Israel. Earlier today, the sirens were sounding here from the north to the south of the country. We were able to watch the missile interceptions overhead here in Tel Aviv. One missile did get through in the Tel Aviv area, striking down, causing no injuries. Another missile landed to the south, the town of Beersheba, that's been under fire lately, also resulting in no injuries. A different story in the northern port city of Haifa, where a missile came down. More than 20 people were injured. 3 of those injuries said to be serious, including a 16-year-old who took shrapnel to the chest. One woman did die.
Wow.
She died of a heart attack running to the bomb shelters. The Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency says Iran was not taking the final steps toward making a bomb. And despite the recent warfare, diplomacy, he says, could still prevent Iran from getting that bomb.
We have.
So, I was thinking, why can't Iran have a bomb?
Mm, it's probably what they think they're going to do with it.
To be our mini me, right? Well, there's only one way to settle this.
Chance,
Who's
mute
that?
your TV.
Now, whoever Lily calls.
I said mute your TV, mute your phone. Thank you, Chance. Probably because of the fear of like if they're gonna what they gonna do with it.
Yeah,
And then
well,
they probably have in whatever their what you call them agreements they have between the countries that one country may not make bombs, or if they make bombs, they got to reveal to the other country what they doing.
well, I mean, if one country can defend itself and the other one can't, how's that fair?
Yeah, but it could be within a little. I don't know what you call them when they be them treaties or whatever. So that could
Hmm.
just be something that they didn't came to an agreement on, or I don't know, or either maybe they just are worried about, if they keep making them, they're gonna end up bombing them and killing innocent civilians. So
And didn't Obama have something to do with this?
what the bombs?
Some some deal.
I like let me see. Stop. I think so. Uh, I think so. But it's something like that where they be making those agreements where they can't make certain things, or they gotta reveal what they're making. And then sometimes I guess they be going outside of that agreement and in secret still making bombs. See, and I just pulled up something where it says Israel has its own secretive nuclear weapons program, one that it doesn't publicly acknowledge, but that some experts believe is also expanding.
So if Israel has their own, why are we helping Israel?
Let me see what Iraq. I think they all got them. China,
We just
Russia.
want to be the dominant force. That's why we over there.
Hmm. See, and it says Iraq has been involved in several agreements and discussions related to nuclear weapons and disarmament. Notably, Iraq is a party to the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. Um, and then it just says the NPT aims to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and promote peaceful uses of nuclear energy. So it's
I
something to do with these treaties and stuff.
I think that it's going to be announced that we are going to get involved. I think we're already involved. They just need time to chance.
They need time. They need time to
Chance, what are
deploy.
you doing on the screen, bro?
He got access to the screen. How he got access to your screen? Don't do
He,
that. We are
he,
live.
he don't. He on Zoom. I can.
I can do that too.
I think you can because you're on your phone.
Oh,
Do you see a green little button in the bottom left?
of mine? Mm-mm. Maybe it's because I'm on my phone. Mm-mm.
Mm.
Let me see backgrounds. No, I can put a background and stuff on. But yeah, I think it has something to do with the little treaties and stuff. I didn't pay attention too much in history.
that Iran does have, even now, enough material for several warheads. But this should not be equated with a nuclear weapon. We do not have, at this point, if you ask me, at this point, any tangible proof that there is a program or a plan to fabricate, to manufacture a nuclear weapon.
Now, in response to the missile strikes, Israel's defense minister promised increased activity of the air campaign in Iran last night and today. Israeli fighter jets were active both above central and western Iran. The IDF says the targets were missiles and military infrastructure. Kaylee, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Keep us updated. Well, General Jack,
Yeah.
here's where I want to start it. It's very
It says an international coalitions of nations led by the United States liberated Kuwait in 1991 in the terms of the UN ceasefire set out in the Security Council Resolution 686. And in Resolution 687, Iraq was forbidden from developing, possessing, or using chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons by Resolution 686. The international community concern stems from Iraq's past development and the use of weapons of mass destruction.
Well,
Yeah.
when they come out and say that we're involved and we've been involved and given them support, maybe it'll make sense why Iran is. They said Israel's committing genocide
And that was
and
Iran.
blaming on the Hamas.
I think Iran is the same thing. And yeah, Iran is currently restricted from developing nuclear weapons by an international agreement known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. This this deal, also known as the Iran nuclear deal, limits Iran's nuclear program in exchange for lifting of international sanctions. While Iran maintains its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes like energy production, the international community remains concerned about its potential to develop nuclear weapons. Yeah, I don't think they're being forthcoming and they secretly are like making weapons of mass destruction and like chemical weapons.
Very clear to me why Iran can never have a nuclear weapon for myriad reasons. You look at Pakistan, the fears of a non-state actor getting a nuclear weapon. There's the question of if Iran's rational. There's the idea that we don't want nuclear proliferation among rogue regimes. But I'm wondering if you can explain very clearly why it is in the U.S. national interest to prevent this from happening.
Yeah, well, first of all, look at Iran's behavior and the language they've used for 45 years. Their theme is dominating control of the Middle East and the flow of oil out of the Persian Gulf, drive the United States military out of the region so we lose our influence in the region, and destroy the state of Israel. Now, when they used to say...
But then again, so why do we go there in the first place?
Right, and then it says...
Because to me, it sounds like we just went over there for the oil, if you read between the lines.
And then it says the Iran nuclear deal, officially known as, like I said earlier, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, was an agreement reached between Iran and several world powers, including the U.S. under the Obama administration. And then it says the objective primary goal was to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons by restricting its nuclear activities. And then Iran agreed to reduce its stockpile of enriched uranium, reduce the number of centrifuges, and refrain from building new heavy water facilities. So this is all in them to lift sanctions up too. So Iran agreed, but they're still probably secretly creating bombs.
And they said the only way to prevent them from whatever is some kind of bomb that only we have.
And then it says the United States under the Trump administration withdrew from the JCPOA in 2018 and reimposed the sanctions.
Whatever that means.
I think he came in
in the early
and listed them.
days of the regime back in the 80s, people would roll their eyes and say, well, they're not really serious about that. They are dead serious about it. And acquiring a nuclear weapon gives them two things. And the first thing is the destruction of the state of Israel. And the state of Israel has to take that existential threat seriously, based on the language and the rhetoric that they've exercised for all these years and their determination to have a weapon. And secondly, it leads to a nuclear arms race if they get a weapon in the region. Henry Kissinger, who, after a number of years on the Defense Policy Board with him, some 12 years, we actually developed a friendship, which I was honored to have. And he told me, he said, Jack, you know, the most serious challenge in my lifetime that we're facing is not the calamity of World War II. It's Iran having a nuclear weapon and the Arabs acquiring a weapon, obviously, to prevent them using it. And it would likely, given the volatility of that area, lead to the first nuclear exchange in the world. So it is in U.S. national interest for Iran not to have a nuclear weapon. Certainly our ally is threatened by it. But the world is threatened by them having a nuclear weapon because of who they are.
Yeah.
This is a diabolical, threatening regime. The fact that they're mullahs and clerics is a fraud. These are thugs and killers who are running this regime for 45 years.
Yeah, who want nuclear weapons. I want to speak to this precise moment in time, and I want to play a clip I heard last night from Rahm Emanuel. He talks about a different moment in the Situation Room. Bill Clinton, 1994, an opportunity the United States had that was not taken. Listen to this.
I'm haunted by two things. Not haunted, but I have a flashing yellow light. In 1994, same room, Situation Room, Bill Clinton was getting basically his security team bombed North Korea. President Carter, having gone there, messed it up and messed up that opportunity, and now you have a nuclear North Korea.
Is that a lesson we should look to? We could have stopped North Korea in 1994, and here we are again, history repeating itself with a fanatical regime.
Yeah.
History repeats itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think Trump gonna do it. I think he gonna do it. That's why all these little protests is ramming up, and it's all a play.
And then it
Mm-hmm.
says any attack by the U.S. will lead to full-scale attack by the Iranians against U.S. bases in the region and a full-scale war between the U.S. and Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have Grossi on here and others saying, well, we haven't even people in our intel community saying, well, Iran hasn't made a decision to have a nuclear weapon. Are you kidding me? The, the only industry they spend more money on is oil. This is an enterprise. It's at 12 sites. Some of the buildings have, there's 25 to 30 buildings on some of these nuclear sites. Their academic universities are all tied to it in terms of research that's done with it. This is a major, major enterprise, and now they're within 2 weeks of being able to weaponize. And because they haven't made a decision to do that, we're absolutely in the same condition that we're in North Korea. If they made a decision, let's say today, 2 weeks later, now they have 9 weapons. Now they're a nuclear power. Isn't that what happened to us? And to suggest that, well, maybe we shouldn't do anything because they haven't officially made the decision to weapon. For 25 years, they've taken every step that's humanly possible, not only to develop a nuclear weapon, but also they put into this major enterprise, and this is what some people don't get, is the Ayatollah has built an enterprise that's redundant and resilient because he knows at some point it would be attacked. And he wants to absorb that attack, survive it, recover and rebuild. And he is never going to voluntarily dismantle his program with verification because it's gone. He believes some of it will be left and I can recover and rebuild. That's really where we are. That's why no progress in negotiations have been made. And that's why the only way to deal with this is you have to forcibly dismantle the program.
Sandra.
What could you tell us, General Aquino, about what
Force. Hey,
Mm,
he said it. With force, y'all.
that is crazy. And they saying a U.S. strike on Iran will open up a Pandora's box and most likely consume the rest of Trump's presidency.
Oof.
And then it says on Wednesday, the leader said Iran would not back down and let the Americans know that the Iranian nation is not one to surrender, and any military intervention on their part would undoubtedly result in irreparable damage. Yep.
Go down, y'all. It is about to go down.
And then they already seized the U.S. as being complicit with Israel. So I think they just waiting for the U.S. to strike so they can just, strike back. Yeah, because it just says in here, that's the same thing I said. The Islamic Republic already sees the U.S. as being complicit in Israel's attacks on Iran, saying the Israels are attacking it with American weapons, and some Iranian officials have said that Tehran, how you pronounce that? Tehran has already prepared itself for a full-blown, drawn-out war.
Mm-mm-mm.
So while Trump is saying 2 weeks, they already ready.
Oh
They
yeah,
ain't
they
waiting
ready.
2 weeks to get ready. They already ready.
Mm-mm.
And I think Trump is probably just working with the military, what you call them, the high ranks, them as far as deployment, getting troops over, getting them situated, and all of that. Because he ain't just gonna come out in 2 weeks and announce we at war. He gotta already have them in position.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't even
That's
came
why he
out and
was
said,
dropping the little nuggets like, oh, we have plans that nobody can detect this, and we already over.
hmm they then slowly probably started moving some of them in, flying over late at night undetected.
Mm-hmm. It's about to go down.
Mm.
the president may be weighing in this very moment. We know that Caroline Leavitt at the White House press briefing yesterday made the news of laying out within 2 weeks. We'll know how the president plans to proceed. I want to also add that we just learned through sources to Fox that Senate Majority Leader John Thune has now scheduled an all senators classified briefing on Iran, Israel, on the conflict. That's set for next Tuesday, June 24th. So within 2 weeks means we could have the president tell us how he's going to move forward in an hour. It could be in a couple days. It could be in 2 weeks. We know he's meeting with his national security team this morning. We don't know if he's emerged from that yet. But what options do you think he is seriously having to weigh in this moment?
Yeah, certainly. Well, he's had 4 or 5 meetings, and these are very detailed meetings in terms of what is our policy overall. And I think when you strategically look at it, I would assume someone like Secretary Rubio is saying, given what the Israelis have done to the Iranians and how back on their heels they really are, you know, they took down 70 of their air defense batteries. There's none left. They've hit 45 military sites. They've hit every single one of the nuclear sites, all 12 plus of them, either damaged or destroyed them. There is no Air Force. It is completely destroyed. They decapitated their military and scientific leaders, as you know. And listen to this. Where are the proxies who have missiles and rockets? Not a single one of them is coming to their defense. I asked an Israeli general, what's going on with Hezbollah? Do they still have missiles? He said, yes, General, they do. They have thousands of missiles. And why aren't they coming? Why aren't they defending? The Iranians organized Hezbollah, primary mission to defend Iran. They pumped billions and billions of dollars, 150,000 rockets and missiles. Why haven't they fired any of those in defense of Iran? He said they have lost their will, and they believe that Iran is about to be finished. Where is Russia and China and North Korea, their strategic partners, that they have been cooperating, coordinating, and collaborating with each other for 4 years during the Biden administration? Where is the assistance coming to Iran, given the situation they're in? They have plenty of ballistic missiles. They have plenty of rockets. They have all sorts of things they can.
Hey, there's some deals done behind closed
But
doors.
I know, but I not hold on, because I read something earlier about them Putin and China's president not agreeing with Trump. Yeah.
I put my water.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Come to
crazy.
Iran's aid, not going near it.
Yeah.
It is isolated and most vulnerable it's been in 45 years. So I think Rubio would likely say this is a strategic opportunity for us to not to remove, but to end Iran's domination of the region in their adverse behavior that has been going on for all of these years. We can come close right now to ending that. And maybe in the long run, the Iranians themselves internally will make a change themselves in terms of their direction.
Yeah, and, I think President Trump gets that. And, this 2 weeks deadline, and when we just have a few moments here, General Keane, but I do want to put it in the context of some of the reporting that came out from the Times of Israel, how an Israeli-American deception campaign lulled Iran into a false sense of security. Is it your view that this 2 weeks language, the public broadcasting of where President Trump's head at, could be a part of a strategic plan, maybe to either lull Iran into a place of comfort, or there's some 4-dimensional chess going on with what's being publicly broadcast and then privately discussed behind the scenes?
Yeah, well, certainly that could be the case. And, I didn't fully answer your question.
Were done behind closed doors.
Yeah, and
They're
then it
leaving
says,
Iran out to dry. They had an agreement. Something about to happen with this oil over there.
and then
We're
listen to
gonna
this.
drop that nuke content over there, blow up that last facility in the mountains.
It says in their call, Putin and Xing, I don't know how to pronounce his Chinese name, XI, strongly condemned Israel's actions, calling them a breach of the UN Charter and other norms of international law.
But they not
According to
doing
the
that. And
Kremlin, the elephant in the room, of course, is Russia's own violations. And then it says that where did that part go? Darn it. It says, notably in a veiled message to Trump, XI emphasized that major powers that have a special influence on the parties to the conflict should work to cool the situation, not the opposite. So they are not in agreement with Trump
doing
if
that.
he decides to intervene. Yep. So that's gonna be another issue. That whole Middle East, if it's gonna be like a forever war, watch, guarantee you.
I just dealt with the policy issue, but getting back to what's happening here, he gets briefed on what the military option is or options, and what the risk is to executing those options, and then they will take the president down the path of what is Iran's most likely reaction to it, what are they probably going to do, what's their most dangerous course of action they would take for us, and then they'll walk him through what we would do to deal with all of that. So those things are clearly out there. In terms of the 2 weeks, I think the carrier strike group may be a factor here. You know, it's coming from the Pacific Ocean. It arrives this weekend. I don't think it has much to do with protecting our forces as much as it has to do with retaliation against Iran if they make the decision to strike our forces. Now, obviously, they can thicken the defense, but
Well, I was just saying
I think that extra
2024.
combat power is for that reason, and also let the Iranians see it.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
so
I'm tweaking.
the 2 weeks, obviously, he advertised it as he wanted to see if they're willing to make a deal. Well, they've already answered that question. It goes right back to what I said at the outset. They are not going to give up their program. They are willing to accept this attack.
We say 60 days to make a deal, but they've had nearly half a century since 1979.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on.
But my thing is, it says like Russia, China has offered to be a potential mediator. How can Putin be a mediator and he bombing our Zelensky? What is that over there that he bombing?
Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
He need to figure that out and come to a peaceful resolution and let who was trying to mediate between them. Biden was or whatever. He ain't listened to Trump.
We're just gonna have to stay tuned, y'all.
How many seconds we got left? How much time?
7 minutes.
Y'all look, roll that clip back from what was it, yesterday? Go on and say
What?
it.
I already told them what you was
I
gonna say.
told y'all.
I told y'all to play before the play even happened.
I told y'all. You kept saying, so you think they gonna throw the game? Yes. The Thunder wasn't that sloppy.
What do you mean?
All them
Listen.
turnovers, not playing defense. Come on now.
Okay,
They should have
well,
went all out in that game 6. I don't care if they had to break snap ankles. They should have balled out. But
well,
like I said, it's
I
back in
still think
Oklahoma
Indiana might
City.
win it.
It's in Oklahoma City.
I think Indiana might get it.
No, they got a good chance too.
All the money
Especially
gonna be on Oklahoma City.
if they play like if they play like they did last night.
Mm-hmm. That'd be crazy.
But
But
anywho, I said coming back to Oklahoma City.
y'all let
Now
us
look,
know, huh?
hold on. They both gonna play hard this game because it's the last game.
Yeah, they
Break
got to.
ankles,
No
snap
choice.
ankles, it don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
But y'all let us know down in the comments what y'all think about this stuff going over there in Israel and Iran. Are we involved already? Are we going to be involved? Should Iran have nuclear powers? What do y'all think? Should we
Yeah,
just
and
stay away and leave them alone? Um, Thunder or Pacers? Who gonna win? I low key think the Pacers might win. They might pull it off.
I'm going for the Thunder. We in Oklahoma, so I'm going
I
for
said
the
I
Thunder.
think. Of course, I want the Thunder to win, but I don't know.
You gotta be confident. I'm
It's
saying the
just.
Thunder all the way.
Well, I don't have a favorite team. I just happen to live where the team be at.
I know I don't have no favorite team either, but I'm going for them.
But
Going for
yeah,
them.
y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe. Chance thing got off. All right.
He sure did.
One family.
Endless connections.
All right, we will see y'all tomorrow.
All righty. I love you.
Love you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.